Questions?
How satisfying was it, not just the result, but the focus that the team showed?
I was pretty impressed with our whole approach to this game and where there could have been a lot of distractions and everything else. Our guys just played so well today. Puck was moving well and, good decisions all around. And so it was a real solid game for us and a great way to finish.
Word on Paye?
Yeah, more a cautious thing. We just took him out. Our trainers thought it was best for him to not come out in the third, but he'll be fine and get back from what I hear.
When did that happen, Claude?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I didn't even know. They just came up and told me that they were looking at him and they came back and said we're going to keep him off for the third.
Just to continue on that focus thing, I mean, I guess they did come within 3-1 at one point. You guys answered that right back.
Yeah, I thought that was a big goal. 3-1 gave him some life, and then that next goal, the one that he scored there from a great pass from Kretsch, was to me was probably a real important goal in that game, because either they were going to come out in the third and really push hard, or I think we kind of discouraged them a little bit with that goal.
You talked so much about this segment before the break. Now that it's over, I mean, are you pretty proud of the entire effort throughout that entire segment to this point?
Yeah, I mean, we finished 8-1-2, right? So I like the way we handled that, and those two losses that were either in overtime or shootout, I think it was. But in St. Louis, it could have easily turned into a win. So it's not like the games we lost weren't very good. So throughout that stretch, I thought the consistency that we were looking for was there and more.
Was that what you expected from the group, or were you said you were impressed with tonight's performance too? Were you kind of impressed with the amount of focus throughout that entire stretch, or did you just expect that they would?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, you expect it, what kind of team and what kind of players you have, and you kind of expect it. But, and you're also impressed by the way they've been able to, throughout this whole segment, not to sway away from it or derive from it, or, everything that could have happened didn't. And they no matter what Zdeno left, our game didn't change, and if anything, we played even better, because we knew that we lost a big piece of our team back there, but the guys on the back end played so well and responded extremely well under the circumstances. So I can say I was impressed as well.
How much does Patrice's offensive game maybe just not quite hit its 100% potential because of the role he plays and the type of all-around player he is?
Well, to me, it seems to have picked up in probably the last 10 games. I've seen his game offensively progress. Now, whether a lot of it has to do with him, but also his line mates have gotten better too along that way. But he's to me, he's always been that guy that's that perfect fit where he's as reliable defensively as he is offensively. He's going to give you a fair amount of production and a fair amount of points, and yet he's going to give you that same kind of I guess comfort feeling in your end of the ice as well. So those guys are hard to find, and when you have them, like I said, you try and hold on to them.
Much of a message to the guys that are kind of scattering off to the four corners of the earth here for 12 days before you start practicing again?
Well, I think it's a well-deserved break for everybody, especially after this last stretch of games we've played and how well we've played. I know that the game of hockey will benefit from it a lot upon everybody's return. Like every team, you're going to see what 2 weeks can do to an athlete who's been going hard for these last few months with a compressed schedule. And even though there's some people going to the Olympics, it'll make for some pretty interesting hockey from here on in. So I think the whole game of hockey and the NHL will benefit from this little bit of a break here, and our guys can certainly go in and get that rest. They've earned it in my mind, and I know that the group that we have here, they'll be ready to come back and then get back to action here, and I'm sure they're going to be in great shape when it's time to start again.
Claude, is that part of that confidence come from the fact that you guys have been through compressed schedules before? You've been, like obviously last year you guys have handled it, and there's that experience also.
Yeah, and you know, it just seems that here, no matter whether it's a compressed schedule or not, the Boston Bruins schedule in March has always been a heavy one. It always seems to be, you know, varies almost between 15 and 17 games in 30, 31 days, you know. So we've always been finishing the season that way, so I guess there's some confidence there, and as far as I'm concerned, from my players, and also the fact that a lot of those guys have been around. I know them pretty well.
Pretty happy where the team is at this point as far as, you know, division, playoff standing, all that stuff, as you go into this extended break?
Yeah, we are. I mean, there's only one team in our conference that's ahead of us, and there's still lots of hockey to be played. But again, for me, during the regular season, I always look more for consistency versus, you know, whether a team gets really, really hot, and when the playoffs start, they've dropped a little bit. So I just want consistency, and as I said, my goal is always to have the team playing its best at the right time of the year.
To the break,